DRG, he's not too active anymore. We rarely see DRG over the past couple of weeks in ESL Open Cups, in KSL, in a lot of these online tournaments. DRG has been inactive, so I have been a little bit concerned that maybe he like retired quietly. Not uncommon for that to occur, where we don't even have an announcement and a player just stops competing and just steps away. So part of me was really scared that that's what happened, but no, DRG, he's still here, he's still playing, still competing, and DRG can perform quite well in this event. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case. We'll see if he can be stopped. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione, we have the German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ForJumy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing himself, currently teamless. It is DRG. Let's go. DRG being forced like the unnatural natural. Likewise, ForJumy, a very aggressive player is what I will say. We've seen a lot of aggression out of him. I think I rarely get to cast ForJumy play macro, I'll be honest. He's just always in your face, always looking to take advantage of his opponents in any way he can. So we'll see how he does approach DRG. See how he does approach our Zerg player. As for now, DRG going for a hatch, gas pool, standard opener. Standard opener. Likewise, ForJumy going for the gate expand into Cybercore. Everything looking as it should for the time being. Nothing crazy here on Alkione. I mean, technically, we could have seen a rush into the gold. We could have seen even proxy early on, earlier gases, earlier pools. But for now, we're just calming things down. We're settling in. And again, I'm just happy to see some more DRG here. Just because of how little that he's been playing in recently. That also, I'm curious as to his current state of play as well. Just because we've seen so little of him, I'm not too certain the kind of shape and form he is currently in. So we're about to find that out in this series and in this tournament as well. As a reminder, I should also emphasize the players that did drop their series so far. No one has been eliminated. This is a double elimination tournament. It's double elim, so everyone is still in the event. No one has been eliminated yet. DRG is going to be joining up. ForJumy throwing down the Kappa. Let's go. Este ForJumy. I also noticed he is on Parting's clan on NA. Shaking my head. Shaking my head. Now as we settle into game one, a shout out to Thriving GG. Ga, papi, ga, gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the OSC mid-season playoffs. Number 2, welcome to the first day of the playoffs. It is a big online event hosted and organized by OSC. It brings together all the top competitors in the online tournament circuit, and it brings them all here for you today. Now, this is only day 1. This is going to be like a multi-week event. It's a very massive bracket, multiple days of casting. We are just covering the debut, the beginning, the entree, the start of the event. We're here for day 1. We might be here for a future day as well. Typically, we'll be passing the torch to casters like Wardy, to Chicken Man, to Dave Testa, to some of the other community casters. We're all going to be kind of doing our parts and taking our turns at covering this event, just because of how large it is, just because of how long it is. So we're all taking turns. As for now, DRG getting to his 3rd base. Also, you missed out on some crazy Zerg games, by the way. I recommend the VODs. We just wrapped up Iba. He had his series against Moja, which was very entertaining. We just wrapped up Shin versus Rostock, which is also wild in its own way as well. But regardless, hope you had a good time thriving. You had a good time. And welcome. As for now, we're going to be calming things down. Again, it was just a Stargate opener into Oracle, into a 3rd base. Behind this Void Ray, the initial Void Ray into Oracle, I should emphasize. ForJumy taking up behind this into a Twilight Council. No Forge, which is a little bit concerning. ForJumy He's cooking something in his main. What exactly is he cooking, though? As the lings are deflected, third base is being established. And it is going to be, there we go, charge, not blink. It's going to be a charge-based follow-up. Again, the lack of Forge tells us that this might just be a big committed move out. Oh my god, that's a massive gateway explosion. Yeah, it's going to be committed. So it's borderline all in. We'll see how heavily ForJumy saturates his expansion. I mean, ForJumy, he has not taken gases at the natural. I don't expect gases to be taken here at the third base either, as it is going to be a charge base all in. We do catch a couple of these workers, though. Nice catch here from DRG, but that is 7 gates on the way. It's going to be an 8-gate 3-base, sorry, 9-gate 3-base all in. Oh my god. And this is what I mentioned earlier when I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a ForJumy macro. Maybe once, maybe. I think I've casted ForJumy like head into like a standard macro game, like maybe once, maybe twice, if that. He does his own thing. He's wild, he's crazy, he's aggressive, and we'll see if DRG can keep up with this aggression. Oh boy. Again, no extra gases, no extra tech, no forge, no temple archives, no bay, no nothing. Just purely zealot. Just charge, let's papi. Here we go. Now, back at it, we've been focusing a lot on what ForJumy's been doing. DRG did thankfully go for a safety roach warren. So he has a safety roach warren. He's massing roaches. He's droning up somewhat, getting up to 3-base saturation, which is okay, but there are not going to be any bailings with this defense as else. They're moving out, and DRG, is he getting caught out? How many roaches? He has 0 roaches. Oh, too greedy. Far too greedy. 11 roaches on the way. 4 spine coolers as well. DRG getting caught with his pants down. The pants, papi. They're not on. Zelce charge into the third base, and Queens are trying to hold on. Nice hold position micro with the drones. Roaches are on the way, but alas, they're still not ready. And ForJumy, he's going for the kill. He's going for the throat. Diving into the natural. Nice positioning here with the SimCity, though. Yeah, the choke point is brutal, and the roaches will hold their own, but what about the third? The spine callers are finishing. Oh my god, the spine callers do finish. Again, really nice hold position micro with the drones. And DRG, despite having 0 roaches to defend, despite being caught off guard, he is shutting this down. Oh my god. Dong Ryu. Papi. More Zelts are coming out, but DRG, he doesn't lose any drones. No shot. No shot. 4 drones went down, barely any economic damage. The Queen survived, the roaches come out, and DRG, he completely shuts this down. Again, a very late response, very late reaction to this all-in. DRG, when he saw the Zealots here in the center of the map, that's when he started the Spines. The Spines, they started so late, but they finished. They finished up. The Roaches popped out as well. Very nice crisis management here out of DRG. Very impressive. Likewise, the choke point, the whole position. And ForJumy's in a world of hurt. ForJumy just now taking gases, just now getting immortals, Forge as well. Like, all of this is an afterthought. ForJumy, he is not ready for a longer game. He's not set up for one. And ForJumy is in trouble. Oh boy. And he shouldn't have been. Like, again, like, I feel like everything went right for ForJumy. He striked, like, just when there was 0 roaches, like a handful of lings. It was, what was it, 11 lings, I think? A handful of lings, a handful of queens as well. But again, the response from DRG was insane. And from here, we're just waiting for DRG to finish up his upgrades. We're waiting for Roach Speed, basically. Roach Speed, once it finishes up, then DRG can move out across the map. Then it can start to move out, micro, of course, saturate, reinforce. His 4th base is getting up and running. DRG just waiting for his upgrades. ForJumy is given some time to recover, that is true, but there's a lot of recovery to do. He's going double robo, double immortal production. It makes sense. He needs as many immortals as possible. The changelings, they spot the army. They spot the immortals. Interesting. And DRG, upon seeing this, he techs. Hive is on the way. Lurker Den is on the way. Really mature decision out of DRG. Like, he knows he's ahead. Like, DRG, he knows he's in a good position. And upon seeing just how many immortals are coming out, there's 4, soon to be 5, soon to be 6 immortals. That's a lot of immortals. If he does push out with Roach Hydra, I mean, he's at risk of losing his army and losing his lead. So DRG is getting ready for that next step, getting ready for a later game. Keeping up with the Prism, gaining map control with the Zelnaga. Dark Shrine is on the way. Makes sense. You know, when behind, Dark Shrine. ForJumy is setting up. And DRG is maxed, which is crazy. DRG, he's maxed out. Almost 200 supply. His drone count is a little bit lower. His supply is inflated because of all these roaches, and DRG has to trade. At this point, he's gonna have to trade here with ForJumy, but ForJumy, he's coming to DRG. Uh-oh. Oh no. And again, DRG, he is more than ready to receive. He is maxed out on Roach Hydra. Does collapse in. Not many Ravagers, so force fields can actually be quite effective, but they're scattered throughout. Yeah, the force fields are less than ideal. And DRG is just completely shutting this down. A better force fields towards the end. At the same time, so the counterattack does hit the natural, catching reinforcements. Drones are going down, queens are going down as well. This is some decent damage, but I mean, how do we deal with the main army? How do we deal with this? As DRG does go straight for the natural, takes down the cyber core. There are some DTs. Oh, where's the detection? No detection available, so we could maybe eventually deal with the main army, but alas, still just so much Roach Hydra. It does start to step forward, going for the Immortals. Those DTs are putting in a lot of work, but here comes the detection. The Overseer has arrived. DRG bleeding out a lot of units, but we'll still break through. GG. GG gets called, and DRG will take game number 1. GG. Again, very impressive play there from DRG. Very inspiring as well. It's like, oh my god, I just didn't think it was possible to hold there. It's crazy. Very impressive stuff. And from here, we're going to be calming things down and getting into the next game. The pressure is now on ForJumy. Can he bounce back? Can he make a series out of this? Ooh, did I mess up? My mistake here. My apologies. I may have accidentally. I was distracted by the raid, Bobby. I was distracted by the raid. So I do apologize. But if you're in the chat, it is not the freshest of setups here. But if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. We're one game in, so it's already leaning in one direction. But ForJumy always has the opportunity to bounce back here. I apologize. I was meant to start the predictions at the start of the series. So my apologies. I was distracted, Papi. Oh, by the thriving. It's all good. It's all good. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura. We have the German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ForJumy. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg. Currently teamless, but still an amazing player in his own right. It is DRG. Good, just catching up with the chat. Thanks for casting literally everything live, VIP. You're the goat. Oh, thank you, Thriving. Thank you. We do our best. We do our best. I do what I can, Papi. Casting everything. Whatever we don't cast live, we cast via replays. True. Just doing our parts. Gracias. I see ForJumy in the chat as well. Ah. Oh no. You have a probe crying emote. Ah. Este ForJumy. It's okay, Papi. It's okay. Less than 3. So now we are going to be settling in. It is going to be a hatch gas pool standard opener out of DRG. And ForJumy across the map. What do you have for us? What do you got? Let's go. It's hard to beat the dog. It is. It's not easy, Papi. It's not easy. Not easy to handle the dog. We're here to watch though. We're here to witness. Likewise, standard open out of ForJumy. For the time being, everything's looking as it should. We'll see what kind of direction things take, though. What I will say, especially after that last game, I imagine DRG's on notice. I imagine DRG, he's that much more aware, that much more even respectful of ForJumy after the previous 9-gate 3-base all-in. DRG is going to be, I'm sure, a lot more attentive at scouting and making sure that ForJumy is actually macroing up and actually establishing and getting ready for a longer game. So we'll see if ForJumy tries to be cheeky again. Like what I mentioned before, especially after being hyper aggressive in game 1, it's going to be a little bit harder to get away with that. So we'll see if ForJumy goes for something more standard, more macro, or if he goes for something else. For now, Stargate opener here out of ForJumy. It's going to be the initial Stargate. We'll see if we go Oracle or ForJumy first. Likewise, back at home, DRG droning on up, settling in. And attempting to scout his opponent, the Adept moves out. As it moves out, Lings move in, and DRG will get a free scout of the main base, or at least he should, is being a little bit greedy, going for the probe. One probe does go down. Nice pick off. At the same time, Adepts, they will be threading their own shades, as the Adepts do move out, and the Lings will get eyes on the Oracle. It's going to be the Oracle opener. Nice movement here from ForJumy, does save the probe. And losing one so far. The Ling, he wants the probe! He wants it! Oh, he wants the probe, baby! He's going in! At the same time across the map, Adepts, they shade towards the main. Ooh, and DRG does pull away in time, hasn't lost many workers yet. And it looks like he will lose the one. One drone goes down, trading 1 for 1. Oh, 1 for 2 actually, okay. Not bad. As ForJumy does get the extra drone kill, but it was 2 Adepts for 2 drones, so not the most ideal trade for ForJumy. Behind this, going for a Twilight Council and Robo before the 3rd. Once again, aggression. Aggression is on the horizon here for ForJumy. Oracle's moving out. I would imagine... Ooh. As we are going to be recalling the Stalker to safety. Thankfully, Stalker is saved onto the other side of the wall. But we are going to be stuck here on 2 bases. And I was going to say, I imagine this is going to be Glaives, but we'll see. We'll see if we head into Glaives, into earlier Blink, into Charge. Show us the upgrade. Show us what you got. Once again, another Gateway Explosion, getting to 4 gateways. Oh, okay. It's going to be a Twilight Council, not into Charge, into a Templar Archives, into an interesting way to dive into an Archon drop. So Templar Archives into Archons. Actually, my apology. Yeah. Into a War Prism, I imagine. Into an Archon drop. There we go. Prisms on the way. We have seen a couple of players rely upon this. A couple of European Protoss players. When it comes to the Koreans, I think Creator has gone for this variation every now and then. I mean, I say every now and then, like once a month sort of thing, or maybe once every now and then. Sometimes. I've seen Creator do this as well. As ForJumy will expand, getting into his 3rd, and getting ready for a longer game. Again, this opener should just be for Archon Harass. We'll see if we commit a little bit harder, as we've yet to invest into a Twilight Council upgrade, but I'm sure soon going to be working towards Charge. As the Prism is out of the map, and the High Templar on the way. But the Lings are parked right underneath the Prism, though. We actually can't warp in the High Templar. Yeah, forced to warp in elsewhere. Ay. Yeah, warping in back at home. Archons are morphing in as well, and this will delay the drop. Will delay the build, as the Archons have finally arrived. Back at home, DRG droning, saturating his 3rd, getting gases, taking Evo Chamber, and here comes the drop. Here comes the drop across the map. Headed towards the 3rd. DRG in position. Wolves zone away. Zone away the Prism. Behind this Embracing Roach production. Hydrogen on the way as well. Oh my god, that's a lot of Queens! The Queens, they will shut them. No, the Prism! No! Get out of here! Oh my god, the Prism taking a lot of hits and will abandon one of the Archons, but will survive with the other. It was a brutal call to make, but it was the only way to get away with the Prism and at least one Archon. But that was a brutal shutdown. With that, DRG does defend, saturating on 3 bases. 4th is now on the way as well. And DRG is now taking into Roach Hydra once again. Once again, just really safe play out of DRG. Makes sense, especially against a 2-base opener. Because the 3rd base was so heavily delayed, DRG did not skip the Roaches. Did make some safety Roaches, and now embracing Hydra. Very similar to the previous game when it comes to the tech path of DRG. Behind this, 2nd Robo. Once again, double Robo, double Immortal production on the way here for ForJumy. Ooh, not just double Robo though, we have Storm on the way as well, so there is going to be some splash damage There is going to be a little bit more complexity to this army of ForJumy. Do love to see it. Will be an answer to the Hydras. As High Templar are warped in to gather up energy. Safety shield batteries on the way. ForJumy is building up his death pool of an army. Likewise, DRG back at home, droning up only up to 3 base saturation. I believe the Observer just got sniped. And there's no saturation at the fort. Okay, DRG, he's maxing out. He's maxing out on 3 base with purely Roach Hydra. Oh boy, so DRG is going to be the aggressor. And it's going to be quite an army. Now, Storm is going to be done in time. And can ForJumy hold? Can he hold? Can he defend? Do we get a contamination? No shot. 2 seconds. 1! Oh my god. Okay. I was so concerned that DRG was going to be able to contaminate that building. Okay, we're okay, Pappy. Let's see, we go. The army does push in. These force fields slowing down the push. No Ravagers. Without Ravagers, these force fields can buy a lot of time. Can buy a lot of time. There we go. Contamination on the Robo. On the wrong one, though. As the Immortal will still pop out. And DRG, upon seeing the army, he backs off. Upon confirming just how robust and how fortified ForJumy is on 3 bases, DRG, he backs off. He's taking Lurker Dens on the way. Infestation Pit. 5th base as well. The downside is that now DRG is stuck with this. He's stuck with all these roaches, and he's not using them. Again, a lot of this lava could have been spent on drones, on expansions, and on tech. So DRG, his transition to a longer game is a little bit later. It's not as fluid as it was in the last game. So ForJumy, he's catching up. He's catching up in the army supplies, catching up in the quality of his army as well. Building up even more Immortals. That's so many Immortals. And when ForJumy moves out, this army's gonna hit like a truck. It's gonna be insane. Just purely Immortal Archon Storm. It's gonna be crazy. oh boy. As ForJumy is building up and getting ready. DRG needs to trade, 100%. He needs to trade out something. He needs to like trade with the army, picking off an Archon and Immortal here and there, and replacing it with more Roaches, more Hydras. DRG staying max like this, it's hurting him. It's hurting him more than anything. Lurkers are on the way. ForJumy going for a Doom Drop. Sorry, DRG going for a Doom Drop. Oh my god. Are we committing? Base trade? We might just commit here. Drop into the main. Lurkers are still in the way. They just now finished up. Prism in the main gets zoned away by the Queens. And the drop will shut down the main. Denying +2. Lurkers are sieging up. Storm being thrown down. And can ForJumy break this? He does have detection. Massive storms here on everything. Oh my god, the storms on the roaches, on the Lurkers. And ForJumy, he breaks the 4th. At the same time across the map, the main base is falling. And we are committed to the base trade. DRG remaxing with Hydra. 22 Hydras on the way. Hatchery will fall. ForJumy slowly pushing towards the main. Oh, the Overlords! Get out of here! Overlord's getting stormed upon. Main base has crumbled. Now headed towards the natural. We have reinforcements for ForJumy. He's going to try to make a stand at his natural. Likewise, DRG trying to make a stand at his main. As there's still 2, maybe 3 more storms with the army. Lurkers getting in position. This army here from DRG getting a little bit smaller, getting thinned out. ForJumy, he abandons the main, going for the 4th instead, going for the 3rd. But there are Lurkers in position. Where's the detection? Uh-oh. Oh my, oh, the storm! The mineral line, the drones go down! So does the hatchery. And DRG is still not gaining any ground across the map. He's still not pushing to the natural. And more bases are going down. DRG getting knocked down to 1 hatchery. 1 base left. Limited larva, limited economy. DRG, he has still not been able to break this. Is going across the map. He bypasses the main army. Recalls back home just in time. Does recall back. And there's detection. There's the observer. DRG barely has anything left. Is pushing. We have storms. Oh my god. Once again, massive storms. covering every single lurker. There's one lurker left. GG gets called, and ForJumy, he defends, he survives, and he takes game number 2. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ForJumy does take the game. Again, DRG, he went for a 3-base max out, if you recall. He joined up to 66 workers, went up to Roach Hydra, maxed out, but because of ForJumy's setup back at home, the maxed out army did nothing, and ForJumy, he was just stuck with this maxed out army. Did opt to go for like a pseudo base trade with a Doom Drop, which was a bold move, did kill the main, but wasn't able to get much done or anything done at the natural base. ForJumy just snowballed out of control with that insane army, that intense army of Immortals, Storm, Archon. And with that, we are going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. Let us go. Only Protoss is allowed to max out on no workers at a move. Calm down, Eva. Calm down. Here we go. We're getting into our next game. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Side Delta, we have the green Protoss player from the land of Germany representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ForJumy. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing himself, currently teamless, being forced into the ace match. Can he bounce back? It is DRG. Go. Okay, DRG again getting punished for his aggression in the last game, and after what happened in game number 2, I imagine that DRG is going to be taking a bit of a slower approach here. I mean, I say that, I do think that the third base location on Side Delta is a little bit more, it's not as fortifiable as it is on Golden Aura, for example. It's a little bit more exposed. That's what I was looking for. It's exposed, might be a little bit more exposed. So if DRG were to go for something similar, it might have a little bit more success on Side Delta, but we'll see. We'll see how he does approach this. We'll see how our players do open up. As for now, DRG opening up Hatch Gas Pool, forcing the unnatural natural. Likewise, ForJumy back at home going for the gate expands. Everything looking normal so far. Again, we have seen some aggression out of ForJumy, but nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Nothing off of like 1 base, for example. Or even 2 base. But I'm curious. I'm curious to see how ForJumy does follow this up. As he's gone for very different builds in each game so far. Game 1 was a 3-base charge all-in. Game 2 was fast tech, staying on 2 bases, taking a later third, and building up Immortal, Archon, Storm. We'll see what he goes for here in Game 3. As if you recall, it was a, I guess, Templar Archives opener into an Archon drop. Now DRG does zone ForJumy away. Building up, saturating his bases. We have our tech of choice. Stargate opener this time out of ForJumy. Let's go. Something more standard. As we take a moment back. Take a moment. Just saw ForJumy in the chat. Nice race. ForJumy, I appreciate your emotes. The pro crying is so sad though. It's a very sad emote. It's very smooch. But they're good. They're good. So now we are going to be settling in. It is going to be an Oracle first here for ForJumy. Likewise, shading into the main, just trying to be as annoying as possible. Not quite catching a worker. Not yet. Not yet. As after an intense game 1 and game 2, we're just calming things down here in game 3. Denying scouting. DRG in the dark has been unable to scout as freely as he was in the previous games. ForJumy is setting up for an expansion. Oh, let's go. We're expanding. We're taking a third. Probe is coming in. Yes, so far the most standard setup we've seen this entire series out of ForJumy. He's crazy. We're expanding. We're taking a third. We have a second Oracle on the way. We're defending. And we're probing. Okay. So far, so good. Nothing crazy this time. Behind this, ForJumy can set up his next step to work towards the Twilight Council, into Forge, into potentially +1 and Blink. Or Charge. Oracle dips in. Really, this is when ForJumy throws down like a Fleet Beacon and a second Stargate and like rushes into Tempest or something. I'm ready, Papi. I'm ready. There it is. Forge and Twilight Council. Oh my god. Jimmy. Oh, we're breaking in. Illegal, Papi. Yeah. True. To poke in at the same time, DRG going for the shield battery, a little bit more exposed. And it looks like the shield battery should go down. Nice pickup. Shield battery does fall. Won't get much more though as the Oracles do race back to defend. Likewise, DRG going for a safety Roach Warren timing. It was around 4:30. Just to be safe and secure. And for good reason, because I assumed the ForJumy would be working towards Blink, but no, it's +1 in Charge, not Blink Stalkers. This is not going to be as committed as we saw in Game 1, as extra gases had been taken, and again, ForJumy is working on +1, so we're building up towards a bit of a longer game state here. Temple Archives, Archon, Storm once again. As the first Oracle does get picked off. The Oracles haven't been able to get much done here, and the first Oracle going down is brutal. DRG does defend. As the Oracle is forced to recall back home. And this time DRG is droning. He's droning up to 73 workers, getting a 4th base as well. He's not going for any kind of crazy max out that we saw in the previous game either. DRG's learned his lesson. He's calming down as well. And we're droning. DRG also taking up. Infestation bits on the way. So those Overlords. DRG does confirm the army composition coming upon him. Archons, Charge, and Storm. DRG is going to be committing here with initially a Roachling army. From here, DRG can start taking towards Hive Tech, towards Hydras and Lurkers. I'm curious if that's where he goes, or if maybe he goes for something a little bit different. Oh my, speaking of different, yeah, makes sense. I mean, this is kind of the traditional response to this kind of composition. Swarm Host, this is what we see often against Chargelot. Chargelot Archon specifically. It can struggle against Blink Stalkers just because of how mobile Blink Stalkers are. But something about this army is it is a lot less mobile. It is a lot more vulnerable here to multi-program aggression to Swarm Host play. Let's go. We often see this response from players like Dark, players like Shin, and players like DRG as well. This is kind of like the one kind of state of play where you can go Swarm Host like this against Protoss, and where they can be quite effective. But a big scout, I should emphasize. ForJumy, he comes in, gets a revelation, does confirm, is fully aware of the Swarm Host play. And as a result, we should be getting it ready with some side defense, splitting up the army, and getting ready for the Locust Waves. So a nice heads up here by ForJumy. Is aware. Nine Storm on the way. Rocks being knocked down. DRG is moving out, spotted by the Stasis Trap. ForJumy is aware. Building on more Immortals. Locust Wave getting ready, going for the main army. But there is a Stasis Trap. At the same time, nice other counterattack. Ooh, DRG otherwise out of position. Yeah, Storms are brutal. Do we have another? We do. Another Storm does connect. Stasis Trap as well. The Locust Wave does nothing. And back across the map, 4 drones go down. And the hatchery as well. Very nice counterattack by ForJumy. Shuts down the base. Gets some workers. And the Locust Wave has done nothing. Now, what's concerning is I feel like typically the first Locust Wave needs to get the most done to gain momentum, to start the ball rolling, and for the dominoes to fall one after the other. But the first Locust Wave was lackluster, and now I'm that much more concerned for DRG. I'm concerned. Nidus Swarm on the right-hand side. Locust Wave going for the main. At the same time, DRG does try to hit the left-hand side instead. Catching Zealots. Zealots getting chased down. Locust Wave getting ready. ForJumy is where the Nidus, but is not quite in position. Outside of the stasis, there's not much here. We're going for the natural even. Okay. Going for the robos. Locust Wave does come in. The first robo is going to go down. The first, and can we get the second? Oh, it's going to be close. Locust Wave getting stuck on each other here, going for the mineral line instead. 4 probes. 4 probes do go down. ForJumy, thankfully, only losing the single robo does save the Colossus, saves the mineral line. And now we're getting ready for a counterattack. ForJumy pushing onto creep. Without detection, which is scary. Sure, we're getting ready for that. There is no observer, unfortunately, so there we go. Observer has to be remade. Observer's on the way. And then once ForJumy has the observer, then I'm sure we'll be a little bit more confident about moving on the map. I just want to say, do continue. The creep is looking insane as well, and behind this, DRG getting ready for lurkers. He's getting his lurker transition up and running. Locust Wave going for the main. Won't get much done, and ForJumy doesn't care about the Locust Wave moving out across the map. Now, what's scary here is that those Swarm Hosts are dead supply. Right now, they're currently dead supply. They're not ready with their Locusts. And behind this, we have lurkers on the way. A Spine Forest as well. Can DRG hold? I mean, that is a lot of Spine Crawlers, and the lurkers are about to finish. The storms are brutal. Massive storms on the Roaches. Got Transfuse. Roaches coming in from behind. But the Roaches, they're melting here against the Immortals. And where's the Locust Wave? We need it. The Locust Wave is almost ready. Once again, big storms here on the Lurkers. Locust Wave coming in, but even with it, it might just be too much. As ForJumy, he's breaking through. He's getting on top of the Lurkers, one after the other. Has broken the third base. The Storm Hosts, they do nothing. They're coming back. They could try to dive on the Colossus, but ForJumy, he kites away. Does pull away from the Locust. Hydra's trickling in. There is no Storm. Oh. The juggling, though. The juggling saves the Colossus, not the Immortals. But the Colossus do survive. And again, there's no High Templar, there's no Storm. But another base is going to go down. DRG coming in from behind. Trying to at least. Trying to catch reinforcements. Zealots, they wreak havoc in the mineral line. The drones, they get shut down. They can't escape. No. There's no way out for the workers. 16 drones go down. DRG's getting ready here for the move out. Has another Locust Wave. No lurkers, though. Just Roach Hydra. Roach Hydra coming in. ForJumy running out of steam a little bit here. Getting forced back. The stasis. Oh, my God. Catch some Storm Hosts. DRG stutter stepping in, and he will shut this down. Takes down both Colossus. Locust Wave comes in, and the army's being cleaned up. At the same time, ForJumy getting to the main. Going for the Lurker Den, not bad. Upgrades do finish, but the Lurker Den is going to fall. And DRG barely has an economy. He's all in. He's all in at this point, down to 41 drones. ForJumy getting more workers in the main. Meanwhile, Nidus Swarm across the map. DRG, he's committed. We gotta go. Could potentially snipe the main. ForJumy has so many other bases. Has an economy, does spot the Nidus, and is racing back home. Won't need the recall. Recall was available. Oh no, the Swarm Host. One Swarm Host goes down. Catching an Archon. DRG does have an efficient army, getting a Disruptor as well, getting 1, getting 2, getting 3. Oh my God. Calm down. ForJumy. Okay, DRG making the most out of a bad situation. Catching an Archon and 2 Disruptors. But alas, as the game goes on longer, as the game progresses, DRG just cannot sustain himself, cannot keep up. I guess what ForJumy has. Might still finish. DRG still has all the Swarm Hosts. Going for another wave. ForJumy coming in from behind. But last barely will not catch the Swarm Host. Locust Wave gets in. Going for the natural. Going for the Nexus even. Okay, can he get it? Nexus under fire. One more volley. It's close. The Nexus will survive just barely. Does make it at the same time. Roach Hydra towards the south. The recall finishes. Massive storms. The recall does complete. The Nexus goes down. But DRG's army is getting smaller and smaller. He barely has a standing army. Is double expanding desperately. But these bases are not going to stand for much longer. They're not going to survive. ForJumy, yeah, there we go. He does rotate. Is amassing his main army. Lurker Den has been rebuilt. We have some lurkers to work with. But ForJumy has detection. Has observers. And ForJumy, looking to come out with the first upset of the night. The favorite players, for the most part, have been coming out on top. DRG was another favorite player, especially after Game 1. Game 1 was a crazy game. But in Game 2, DRG, he was punished for, again, maybe just being a little bit overly aggressive. And here in Game 3, we spoke about it. We spoke about the initial Locust Wave, how it did nothing. It did 0 damage. And it usually is necessary to get some. Whether it's production, whether it's a base, just some kind of value. Stormhursts were a little bit lackluster. Nice abductions though. Catching 2 disruptors. But there's barely anything left. Nervous going up. Good connections. At the same time, Zelda to the main. Drones are going down. GG gets called. And ForJumy, he brings it back from a 1-0 deficit. And will take the series 2-1. GG. Oh my god. Papi. GG, well played. ForJumy, he brings it back in Game 2. He closes it out here in Game number 3. Very impressive stuff. Again, despite how the series started, and it was very impressive from DRG to survive the initial all-in on Alcyone. But here in Game 2 and in Game 3, again, DRG, he was punished in Game 2 for, again, maybe just being a little bit overly aggressive against ForJumy and kind of being stuck with a subpar army. And here in Game 3, making use of Swarm Hosts. I don't blame him for going for Swarm Hosts. Again, they can be a little bit more viable against this kind of army, but just did not get the damage he was hoping for. Whether it was bases, whether it was some high-tech units, whether it was a production, wasn't as successful. And GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to ForJumy. Congratulations, man. GG. GG, well played. Catching up. I see Lorimbo in the chat. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Ay, papi. Oh, here we go. But with this, we are going to be going on a short break. We're more than halfway through the broadcast. We have 7 best of 3s tonight, 7 best of 3s. And we just wrapped up our 4th best of 3. Up next, we're going to be getting into Nickrat versus Nikic in a TVZ, followed by Wayne versus Middle VK and DNS versus Shameless. So we have 3 matches remaining here tonight. Just going on a short break. Take this moment to stretch your roaches, hydrate your hydras, massage your marines, tuck in your tempest, and we'll be back soon with our next series. See you guys in a couple of minutes. See you soon.